Hello, my name is Mandia Johnson and I'm the Health and Wellness Program Manager here at Central Arkansas Veterans Healthcare System. We're going to continue on through another session for the Health and Wellness Veterans Workbook. We've covered several of the areas, but today we're going to talk about friends, family, and coworkers, and that relates to relationships. So if you don't have this workbook and you'd like a copy, just let us know. You can email Tracy Spears or myself, and that email will be attached for you to access. So let's talk a little bit about what do you think relationships are and why are they important? Do you feel like having relationships with others is important? Sometimes I've had veterans in my career here tell me that I'm an introvert, I don't like people. And that is totally okay. There's all kinds of personalities that make up our world, and it would be kind of scary if we were all the same, if everybody was extroverts or everybody was an introvert. So it's totally fine to be whatever you are, but there are so many studies that show the importance of human connection from babies to adults. I'm sure most of you have heard about babies and failure to thrive and these infants that are born and they don't have human contact, touch, or voice. And then you have babies over here that do have that and they gain weight better, they're more expressive, they grow at normal rates. And if babies don't get that, then they tend to lose weight, not eat well, and be more colicky and unhappy babies. So connecting with humans is a necessity and it's important. And even if you don't like it, unfortunately, we have to do it. And as much as we avoid it, we're going to come across having to talk to somebody on the phone, work with somebody in a grocery store to help us find what we need or pay for our products, have to go see a physician, or a family member may drop in on you. So the important thing to remember is that relationships, they're important. And there's a lot more breadth to it than what we think about sometimes. When you hear the word relationship, what do you think of? And how many relationships do you think you come in contact with in a day? We often think of our loved one, our significant other, our spouse, our kids, our family members, and those coworkers. But we're actually in a relationship with anybody we come in contact with. So if I pull into Walmart in the parking lot, I just became engaged with anybody pulling around me, driving in front of me, backing up, walking into the store as I come to the crosswalk. These are all relationships. They may be brief, they may not have verbal interaction, they may just have expressive, wave, frustration, but we actually engage with them. When I go in the store, I have a relationship with the people I walk by. I think about not running into them, or maybe I don't, and I do bump them. Do I say I'm sorry? So those are all relationship engagements. It means when one or more people engage with another. It can be verbal or nonverbal. Even when we get to the checkout, a lot of times we have to engage with a cashier. Nowadays they have the self-express checkout where you can do that without a cashier, but normally we come in contact with other people. So are we able to do that? Are we safely able to do that to accomplish the tasks that we need to every day? So relationships, I'm going to read the definition in here to you. Feeling listened to and connected to people you love and care about, work with, and come in contact with. Feeling alone can sometimes make you feel sad and even aggravate symptoms that make life a little bit harder. Positive social relationships are healthy. It is good to talk to people who care about you and listen to you. The quality of your communication with family, friends, people you work with, and or interact with in the community have an important impact on your health. Take a second and think about, do relationships have an impact about how you feel about yourself? Maybe even though you're an introvert, you feel sad and lonely sometimes when you're alone, even though that's your comfort zone. So just really thinking about, how does my engagement with people affect my health? Does it make me feel good? Does it make me feel bad? Maybe I feel indifferent about some people that I come in contact with. So we already kind of defined the fact that a relationship is the way in which two or more people talk, behave towards each other, and deal with each other. And then what are the most common relationships that you have in your life? Think about the ones that are most important to you, and are you satisfied and happy with how those relationships are going? Or could they use some attention and care? There are different types of support, and usually that's why we seek out relationships, is we need some support in our life. One of those is emotional support. We tend to go to our closest friends and families for that emotional support. If we're having a hard time, we want to talk to somebody that really knows us and we feel safe that they're going to support us and give us good feedback. Then there's instrumental support. This is a person that benefits from help in the form of time, labor, money, or skills. The cashier. Maybe we can't self-check out, so we need that cashier. Or we need a doctor, we need a provider. There are things that we really need, but maybe we don't interact with that person on a personal level all the time. And then there's appraisal support. This is where we get our affirmations from, evaluation, and feedback. It can be that same person that we used for our emotional support, but a lot of the time appraisal support may come from your healthcare providers. It's very important to see, we may feel like we're healthy and good, but to get a professional's perspective on our health can help give us insight to keep ourselves healthy and well. And then finally, there's informational support. And this is people who can give us information that we need. What movies are showing? How much money do I have in the bank? Or if I'm having a problem with my bank account, I call the teller and they give me the information I need. So that informational is somebody who gives guidance, suggestions, and information that can help you cope with what you need to do throughout your day. In 2014, researchers summarized findings from 23 interviews with veterans with serious mental illness who attempted suicide. Veterans described the main feelings preceding their suicide attempts as depression and hopelessness, in addition to loneliness and isolation. So even though we may be an introvert or we don't do well around lots of people, keeping ourselves from engaging with life, which brings us in contact with people, can increase the feeling of depression and loneliness. So it can play a significant role in your mental health and how you feel about yourself. So it's very important that if you ever start feeling lonely like that, reach out to us here at the VA. That's what we're here for. We can fill several of the roles of need for relationships, whether it be emotional support, instrumental, appraisal, or informational. Never hesitate to reach out and talk to those healthcare providers here at Central Arkansas Veterans Healthcare System. We're here to support you, and we want to be those relationship venues for you when it's appropriate. There was another study with Harvard Women's Health, and they summarized it pretty nicely, reporting that people with satisfying relationships have been shown to be happier, have fewer health problems, and live longer. In contrast, having few social ties is associated with depression, cognitive decline, and premature death. So there are all kinds of studies that do show that relationships affect the quality of health. There's all kinds of ways that you can improve your social interaction. A very simple way that people don't think about is having plants or animals. They don't talk back, and they're not as difficult to handle. They don't need quite as much attention sometimes as, say, a child or a family member, but it's a good way to show that all those levels of support that we talked about to a different being, and they can help you learn how to engage. So plants and animals are a good place to start. With family and people, phone calls, games, social media. I encourage people to get face-to-face, voice-to-voice. But if social media is a start for you, use that to engage with people. Gatherings, having hobbies, family get-togethers, community groups, social groups, churches, or maybe a veterans group might be best for you where you feel a little bit more comfort. Volunteering is another great way that I've seen veterans really flourish with their relationship abilities by giving back and the benefit that it provides them. So those are just a few things to think about when we think about the importance of relationships and the need to have them within your circle of health and wellness. In this workbook, there's a couple ideas of games that you can do with family that are very cheap and cost effective. So again, if you would like to have this workbook and find out a few ways to improve your communication processes with strangers or family members, feel free to reach out to us and we'll send you this workbook. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day.